Dear all Form 2 students, in the last week of the geography video teaching, we have talked about the different measures which is carried out by the Hong Kong government to do and to respond to landslide. There are some of the measures are the preventive measures, and then there are some of the measures are the relief measures, so that we try to reduce the happening, the occurrence of the landslide, or we try to reduce the impact caused by the landslide. So that in the last week you should have done the Let's Explore on page 25 and submit it with the Google form. But if you haven't finished it, please do it as soon as possible. So that for today we will talk about the last part of this chapter, which is a case study of the landslide caused in Guangzhou, which is Gamsu in the mainland China. So that here is a very easy part and also a very short part. So similar to the DBQ or some of the questions will appear in the exam paper. Okay, so that let us look at the cause of this landslide. Okay, so that the cause of this landslide, they is talking about some of the physical factors, just like the rock types. In the rock types in Gamsu may not be granite, but they have the similar situation for those kind of the rocks. That rocks are easily weathered and are seriously weathered. So that when we talk about the factor causing the landslide, the rock type which is easily to be weathered will become the loose soil easily, so that the cohesion and friction among the soil particles reduce once they have the heavy rainfall. Then the friction and cohesion will further reduce and increase the chance of landslide. And then for the second factor, it is talking about some of the human activity, such as here is the large-scale deforestation and cultivation. So they will remove a large amount of the vegetation. And then we know that the tree roots can hold the loose soil and make the soil tight, so that when they have this kind of the human activity, then it will also reduce the friction and cohesion among the soil particle and increase the chance of landslide. And then, so for the third factor here is a heavy rainfall. So as we say that the heavy rainfall, it acts as a lubricant for the soil, reduce the friction, reduce the cohesion among the soil particle, and the rainfall can add the weight, increase the weight of the soil particle, so that once they have the pulling force of the gravity, then when the friction and cohesion is smaller than the gravity, then landslide will easily to occur. So that there are some of the causes leading to landslide. And then what are the impact caused by landslide? Okay, so that's for the impact, so similar to other kinds of the natural hazard. Okay, it may cause a casualty. A number of the people die, and then some of them are missing, or some of them will be injured. Okay, so that it will threaten our human life. And then for the other way, okay, in the other aspect, the mud bury the road, so that it will cause a traffic congestions, blockage of the road, and then it will also affect the farming activities or other kinds of the human activities. Okay, and then when the river are blocked by mud, it also causes flooding in some parts of the river, so that it is the secondary hazard. Okay, because at first it's the hazards of the landslide, but then it trigger another natural hazard. It trigger flooding in some parts of Gamsu. And then so for the next part, how the people responds or how the local government responds to this event, this landslide. Okay, so that it can be divided in the immediate measures and also the long-term measures. So immediately when the landslide occurred, okay, the Chinese government and some of the non-governmental organizations such as the Red Cross, 紅十字會, okay, so that they offer the aid to the victims, including they provide some of the resources, just like the tents to the victim, the food to the victim, and also the medicine, okay, to save as much life as they can. So that is an immediate measure. Okay, so how the government, how some of the the organization do once the landslide occurred. And then there on page 27, they have another part, how can we reduce the landslide in the long run? Okay, so in the long term, the government do more inspection and monitoring of the slope. Okay, so that it try to consolidate the slope, it try to know more about the structure of the slope. Okay, so that it can help to reduce the chance of landslide in the future. Okay, and then it can also do better of the urban planning, okay, or the city planning, that some of the high density development should be avoided in the highest risk area. Okay, some of the important features, important structure, or the major development, they should far away from the steep slope or the hilly places. And then education, it is also very important, okay, because once the people, the citizen, have a better awareness about landslide, they can respond well, okay, respond better, or they can also monitoring, okay, and inspect the slope individually, okay, or voluntarily. Okay, so that's education and promotion is also very important. Okay, so that's here you can also brainstorm that what else can the government, the Chinese government, do to prevent the landslide. Okay, so you can think more about it. Maybe also consider the measures done by Hong Kong. Okay, can the Chinese government also adopt this kind of the measures to prevent the landslide to occur, or to reduce the effect caused by landslide. Okay, so that we have finished the chapter 3 here. Okay, so that for this week, you also need to do the Google form, okay, because they have the revision parts on page 27 and 28. So that please do the Google form in this week, okay, to submit the Google form related to the the geography revision on page 27 and 28. Okay, so that's similar to the previous Google form. You need to fill in your name, okay, class and class number, etc. And then after do the whole Google form, so please submit it finally. Okay, so please do this Google form before 29th of March. Okay, so that in the next week I will not provide you the video, okay, but I will give you time to do the worksheets. Okay, I will provide you time to do the worksheet that's which is for the chapter 3, the worksheet. Okay, so that for the next week I will ask you to do the worksheet chapter 3. So if you haven't get the worksheet at home, so maybe I try to scan these questions, and then you can print it out, okay, later to do so. Okay, so that's here is the video, okay, I want to talk about in this week. So goodbye everyone.